Welcome. I am Dr. Stephen A. Wright with Macadamia Solutions. We operate at the intersection of business, technology, and law. The slide before you uses the metaphor of a quest to describe digital security. While the imagery is fantastical, let me assure you the stakes are profoundly real. We are diagnosing existential risks to your enterprise's data supply chain. In today's regulatory environment, you cannot afford to rely on passive observation. Our objective is to build a defensible architecture that allows your organization to achieve innovation without risking indictment. This presentation serves as your field guide to strategic problem diagnosis in this area. We'll explore how to proactively identify and neutralize vulnerabilities before they compromise your data, your clients, and your corporate liability. Let us begin. Every modern enterprise operates a digital kingdom, but the perimeter of that kingdom has vanished. We face sophisticated emerging threats, digital monsters like data poisoning, deepfakes, and algorithmic data suppression that target our external data supply chains. The traditional approach to security was system-centric. We guarded the castle walls by focusing on the host, the operating system, and the application. But today your organization is incredibly fragile behind the scenes if you only protect the perimeter. We must transition to a data-centric approach. We must prioritize the security of specific data instances, the actual treasure inside, because when malicious actors bypass your walls, it is the integrity of your data that dictates your survival. Now, for most organizations, the wake-up call doesn't come from theory, it comes after a bad outcome. A regulatory fine, a devastating breach, or a hijacked AI model. It's time to stop reacting and start hunting. Threat modeling provides a structured, proactive, and continuous approach to anticipating potential threats before they can be exploited. It's a systematic method to understand and mitigate risks, ensuring your data's integrity, security, and availability. By learning to think like an attacker, your compliance and engineering teams can locate the hidden vulnerabilities in your supply chain and build legally defensible, robust countermeasures. This is the essence of strategic problem diagnosis. This proactive defense is not an abstract concept. It's grounded in rigorous four-stage methodology championed by software development security experts. Stage 1 asks, what are we working on? Map the exact boundaries of our data ecosystem. Stage 2 asks where we can go wrong. Here we forensically identify the specific threats targeting our assets. Stage 3 asks, what are we going to do about it? This is where we build our defenses and establish clear decision rights and mitigation strategies. Finally, Stage 4 asks, did we do a good enough job? This demands continuous auditing and adaptation. This four-stage journey is your blueprint for an auditable, enterprise-grade governance framework. So back to Stage 1 is discovery. Before you can secure your data supply chain, you must forensically map your kingdom. First, identify your critical assets, your crown jewels. Are we protecting sensitive client, personally identifiable information, proprietary AI data training sets, or critical operational metrics? Second, characterize the system. How does the data flow through your organization? Just map the applications and critically the API gateways where external data enters your environment. And finally, you need to understand your boundaries. In a digital age, your kingdom extends into third-party vendors and cloud providers that you rely on. If you cannot accurately map your data provenance from sourcing to delivery, you cannot govern it. Once the terrain is mapped, we move to Stage 2. What can go wrong? This stage requires a profound shift in our perspective. You and your technical teams must adopt the mindset of an adversary. Do not merely look for coding bugs, look for systemic supply chain vulnerabilities. Brainstorm the catastrophic scenarios. What happens if a malicious insider executes an exfiltration attack? What if an external supplier feeds you or your AI some corrupted, poisoned data to introduce a hidden backdoor? You do not have to invent these scenarios from scratch. As governance architects, we can rely on established NIST-supported threat modeling methodologies to guide this diagnostic process. To systematically characterize these threats, we can use the STRIDE framework. Think of this as your diagnostic manual. STRIDE forces us to examine 6 specific threat vectors: spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privilege. There are other models, but by applying STRIDE, you ensure no vulnerability is overlooked. Identifying the vulnerabilities is only their diagnosis. Stage 3 is the prescription. What are we going to do about it? For every threat identified, your Data Governance Council must make a strategic, binding decision on how to respond. you have four primary options. You can mitigate the threat by implementing robust security controls like data sanitization or end-to-end encryption. You can eliminate the weak spot entirely by removing a vulnerable feature or terminating a high-risk vendor contract. You can transfer the risk through comprehensive cyber liability insurance or specialized third-party services, or you can explicitly choose to accept the risk, acknowledging its existence while confirming it falls within your organization's legal and operational risk appetite. As your enterprise matures, Stride is just the beginning. We can expand our defensive arsenal. To prioritize which threats require immediate funding, we can use a modeling approach like DREAD that ranks risks based on damage potential, reproducibility, exploitability, affected users, and discoverability. To bridge the communication gap between the engineering department and the general counsel, we can use another framework like PASTA, which is a risk-centric approach that aligns threat mitigation directly with our business objectives. And finally, to understand the precise mechanics of the potential breach, we can look at attack trees, which visually map every hierarchical path an attacker could take to compromise your systems and to the data running through them. These are the tools of a high-stakes governance architect. So the final stage of your quest asks a vital question. Did we do a good enough job? Threat modeling is not a static document to be filed away for an annual audit. It's a continuous living process. As your organization undergoes digital transformation and integrates new technologies, your attack service evolves. You must continuously analyze your model, verify your defensive controls are holding up against modern adversarial tactics. Threat modeling is most effective when utilized to enhance the system's security and privacy through early and frequent analysis. Your governance architecture must adapt iteratively to design changes, ensuring you are future-proofing the enterprise against tomorrow. Because human oversight alone cannot keep pace with the sheer volume of modern data pipelines, we must scale our governance through automation. To document your hunt and build your defenses efficiently, the technical team should leverage specialized tools. Things like the Microsoft threat modeling tools, an exceptional resource for building data flow diagrams and automatically identifying baseline threats. OWASP Threat Dragon seamlessly integrates into the development lifecycle, keeping security agile. And for organizations treating infrastructure as code, ITM allows developers to integrate comprehensive threat models programmatically. These kinds of automatic tools cut costs, save time, and address the growing complexity of modern IT infrastructures. The most critical lesson for any organization is that data governance is a dynamic loop of vigilance. The quest is a cycle, not a straight line. Your threat modeling practices must align with your organization's agile development methodologies, adapting to design changes in rapid iterations. Every new API integration represents new territory to map. Every new AI model introduces new external data and new potential monsters to identify. Treat your threat model as a living document. By fostering a culture of continuous improvement and proactive risk management, you ensure that your data governance practices remain effective, compliant, and strategically relevant over time. If you followed along this far, you now possess the map, the field guide of the strategic tools. The security of your digital kingdom rests in your willingness to adopt a proactive, data-centric posture. I urge you to embrace the Governance Architects Pact, map your systems, identify the threats, build your defenses, and continuously patrol your perimeter. Do not wait for a regulatory inquiry or a catastrophic breach to force your hand. For a comprehensive blueprint on how to implement these strategies, I strongly encourage you to read my book, Securing Your Data Supply Chain, a practical guide to data governance in the digital age, now available on Amazon. Please check the show notes for the link. Finally, to diagnose your current exposure, take the Data Supply Chain Vulnerability Assessment, also linked in the show notes. Secure your data supply chain today and ensure your organization achieves innovation without risking indictment. Thank you.